You know, for those of us who have been in this business, and I've been in this business a long time. No, not this, small engine repair, but I digress. For those of us who have been talking about this, we have been telling you about surveillance, and we've been called dystopian and conspiracy theorists, and we've been called everything you can imagine. And when I first started, I don't know, close to 40 years ago, the surveillance we were talking about then was maybe like, things like wiretaps, or maybe having your car tracked. I mean, this was really rudimentary stuff. But today, oh my God, the surveillance we're talking about today doesn't even have any. There's no comparison. There's no explication. Nothing. I mean, you haven't seen anything. You can't imagine what this is like. This is what we're going to be talking about. So I want you to do me a favor. First of all, and you have to understand this. Number one, you have to like the video. Number two, you have to subscribe to the channel, which is important. You have to hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And also you have to let me tell you about our dear friends at My Patriot Supplies. Specifically, this one particular link, preparedwithlionel.com. Now, I'm going to just explain something to you, and I'm going to allow you to spend some time looking through the website at your leisure. You get a great deal right now, $200 off of a 3-month supply, which is the minimum that you have to have per person. 25-year shelf life, 2,000 calories a day. We're not talking about banana chips and, stewed prunes jarred. We're talking about foods, delicious lunches, breakfast, dinners, the whole bit. But you read this on your own. $200 off the top, preparedwithlionel.com. But listen to me. And maybe you don't know me, and maybe we don't, I don't know, maybe who knows what you think. But I'm telling you, if you have believed anything I've ever said, if anything that I've ever said even remotely has rung true, I am telling you, as whoever is my witness, believe me, there is going to be a food emergency or emergencies that are coming. And it could be because of a who knows, a lockdown, a supply chain, about who knows, natural problems, extraterrestrials, Chinese balloons. Do you really want to rule out anything today? Look around you. And if anything goes wrong, imagine yourself, could you go a week without food? Going to the store, having enough? A week. Okay, fine. Try a month. A month per person in your household. Now is the time for you to go to preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com, and do the right thing. Not for me, but for you and your family. Preparedwithlionel.com. Emergency food. This isn't that weird prepper talk. This is legit. Now listen to me, dear friend. I'm not one of those people you might think, you might run across, especially in these channels and stuff. I believe that when we look back at what has happened in our recent history, there has been example after example after example of governments and organizations that we're not even really sure how they became organizations. Like the World Health Organization. How did they, what? The World Economic Forum, the who? The what? CDC. CDC was a quasi-militaristic origin that was supposedly in place to guard against or help us with anthrax, and it took off into. We're not going to go to the Fauci, Walensky thing, please. But since the beginning of time, everybody has wanted to have you on a 24/7 world view panopticon, where you are mapped and marked from the moment you are born to the moment you die. Where you are, what you see, what you say, what you do, what you read, what you own, where you go, with whom you speak, what you speak with whom about, every permutation of metadata. And it's already there. The RFID chip is so ubiquitous, it's not even funny. It's in your driver's license. It's in your license tag. It's in your passport. You are so biometrically, I feel like Ned Beatty. You have tampered with the private forces of evil, Mr. Beale. We've been telling you this. And the level of surveillance that we're going to see now. Let me ask you something. Do you have a smart meter on your phone? Remember, smart is dumb. Whenever you hear smart, oh, good God. Whenever you hear smart, green, it's green. No, it's not. It's smart. No, it's not smart for them, not for you. Do you have that? I can't say it. That SIRI lady who pops up. The other day I said, are you a SERIOUS? I can't. And all of a sudden, can I help you? It's like, go away. How about that one from, I forget what her name is, from Amazon? This is a device, and by the way, we already have them. A device in our home that listens to us. Years ago, I was telling people about a cable company. I'm not going to mention the name because I might not. I don't want to say the wrong name, but it was a cable company you would know. And in the cable boxes, they were actually recording what people were saying, and there might have even been, I know for sure that there might have been some type of a camera or something in televisions themselves to be able to watch you, so they can watch, viewing patterns or where your eyes are, whatever the heck it was. And people thought I was crazy. Oh, you're a conspiracy theory. You're a nut. Like Gore Vidal says, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. You're crazy. Okay, fine. I'm crazy. I'm crazy. Yeah? All right. I'm crazy. So be it. But it came true. Then the phone came. Biometrics, thumbprints, eye scans. Oh, it's so beautiful. The day that we put something in our body, whether nanotechnology, and I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to talk about that thing that we don't talk about here. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not talking about that. I talk about that on my private channel, if you can imagine. But I'm talking about something where somebody says, hey, there's a little thing you can maybe swallow this, and it's great. And it passes right through, and it's a little endoscopy, and it sounds terrific. And I'm thinking to myself, if I was kind of like an evil kind of a person, what I would do is I would give people things that they would use in their bodies, and parts of it would stay. Or what was, shall we say, eliminated really wasn't the guts of the hardware. I'm just saying. When you put a little, and they were talking about this, a little RFID chip, a little chip in this part of this is called the perlicue, the web. If you put this in the perlicue of your hand, and you can take it right out. You can take this thing right out, and you can pass your hand in front of a vending machine, or you go into an Amazon Go. So hey, they good, and they know who you are. Isn't this great? And of course, the Zillennials will love this because it also gives them more reasons not to communicate and stare off blindly into space. When that happens, and I'm not bringing up Mark of the Beast and all that stuff too, which people, they do reference, biblical stuff. But aside from that, when that happens, it's over. It's done. It's finished. It's done. It's done. And we've always talked about this before. We've always talked about what it means for you to be biotagged. And they always used to say this. Remember when they would say, this is a good idea. Why? Well, in case something happens to you and you go to the hospital, it has your medical records. Good idea. Why are my medical records so critical? They bring me into a hospital. Anybody got his records? He's bleeding. The hell with the records. Fix him. Yeah, but I need those records. Is he on any statins? I don't know. Okay. If that makes you happy, you've got medical records. And the way I always thought they would do it would be this. Remember, OnStar for your car, of course. But remember, every now and then there would be some dog. Remember this dog that would have this little chip or something placed in it? And then years later, the dog would come back. Or they would go to a vet and some guy would scan the dog and say, hey, you belong to so-and-so. Hello, yes. Mrs. Wetherington, yes. We found little Alex. Who? Your dog. Who? Your dog. Alex. Yeah, missing, right. Anyway, we found him. You don't want him? Wait a minute. So anyway, they bring this dog back. I'm back. Okay, Alex. A little worse for wear there. And then they would say, if this is good enough for Alex, maybe it might be good enough for mom and dad, especially if they have, demented, kind of like a certain president I know who walks off. We could put a little device maybe in their perlicue or something, maybe a nice little pendant, nothing intrusive, maybe something they could wear in case they make. That's a good idea. It's a very good idea. And then we can say, you know what? And if it's good enough for your dog, and if it's good enough for mom and dad, what about your child? OnStar for your child. No abductions possible. We'll hide it so that some unscrupulous, horrible, a degenerate pedophile kidnapper doesn't hack off her arm or something god awful. So you can, and there's no way to tell, and it makes sense, huh? And say, if it's good enough for your dog and your parents and your kids, why not you? I mean, think about it. You put medical records. You love the medical records. And then one day, you're brought before a court. Or maybe you've said something wrong. Maybe you violated some social credit score prohibition. And they bring you before the court. And lo and behold, instead of you being sentenced to jail or prison, they just turn your chip off. And you don't exist. You just don't exist anymore. And people who are standing next to you, even though you're walking up to them, their phones won't register. They'll say, well, I don't see you here. I'm talking to you. Well, I don't see you here. The ramifications, the implications, the dangers, this coupled with the usual AI, quantum computing, just throw, the future is going to freak you out. And you're going to need somebody like me and colleagues and wonderful citizen, civilian, alternative, and foreign journalists and news types who love to tell you the truth and love to maybe make you think. That's all. I just want you to think about this. So do me a favor. Thank you so much for listening. Please like the video. Please subscribe to this channel. I mean it. It's very important. Also, hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. Don't forget preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com for emergency food. Not kidding around. Emergency food. What about that? Don't you understand? Emergency food. Huh. And now, if you could and you would, Brighten My Northern Sky is a great Nick Drake would intone, but I ask you to comment as you see fit.